Dreams have always carried with them an air of mystery. They arrive quietly in the night, when the body lies still, and yet within the silence of sleep the mind awakens into something else, a painter, a storyteller, an architect of impossible worlds. We do not summon them by will, and we cannot fully control them, and yet they carry us away as if on a gentle tide. A dream may last minutes or hours, but inside of it, time stretches and compresses until we are unsure if an eternity has passed or only a fleeting moment. Long before modern science, people tried to make sense of this nightly voyage. In ancient Mesopotamia, dreams were thought to be messages from the divine. Kings would consult priests to interpret the visions that visited them at night, believing that their fate was written in symbols only the wise could decipher. A strange bird appearing in a dream might foretell victory, while the image of a river overflowing its banks might warn of danger. The Egyptians, too, kept dream books, lists of images paired with possible meanings, like a coded language between the human and the divine. Even the Bible tells stories of dreams guiding leaders, Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream of 7 fat cows and 7 thin ones, revealing the truth of famine and abundance. But philosophers took the question in a different direction. Plato, sitting beneath the wide Athenian sky, wondered whether dreams were simply the soul remembering truths it had glimpsed before birth. Truths that faded in waking life but returned when reason relaxed its grip. Aristotle, his student, disagreed. He argued that dreams were the echoes of waking experience, impressions left in the mind that rearranged themselves when the senses rested. To him, dreams were not supernatural messages, but natural processes, the continuation of thought in a quieter, more fragmented form. And yet, despite their disagreements, both men circled the same essential mystery. Why does the mind create such vivid realities while the body sleeps, if what we see in dreams can feel so real? How do we know that waking life is not simply another dream, longer and more consistent? This question haunted later thinkers as well. The Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi told a famous story. One night he dreamed he was a butterfly, fluttering through the air with no memory of being human. When he awoke, he asked himself, "Am I Zhuangzi who dreamed I was a butterfly, or am I a butterfly now dreaming that I am Zhuangzi?" The boundary between dream and waking had dissolved, leaving only uncertainty. Centuries later, the French philosopher René Descartes would echo this very doubt as he sat at his desk in the 17th century, questioning what could truly be known with certainty. He realized that every experience, every sound, every sight, every feeling could, in theory, be part of a dream. If in dreams we can be convinced of impossible things, walking on air, speaking with the dead, visiting places we have never been, then how can we be sure that our current lives are not just another layer evolution? Descartes' skepticism was not meant to terrify, but to sharpen the mind. If everything might be a dream, then what foundation of knowledge is firm enough to stand upon? Modern science, of course, has taken its turn at the question. Neuroscientists peer into the sleeping brain with scanners, tracing the electrical storms of REM sleep. Where the most vivid dreams occur, they see neurons firing in patterns. The brain rehearsing emotions, processing memories, simulating future possibilities. Dreams, they tell us, may be the mind's way of organizing chaos, of making sense of what the waking self cannot fully process. Yet, even with all this technology, science has not extinguished the mystery, for while it can describe how dreams occur, it struggles to answer why they feel so real. Close your eyes tonight, and the world you know will fade. The familiar walls of your room, the steady beat of the clock, the sense of who you are, all will dissolve, replaced by something woven entirely from within. Perhaps you will stand in a city you have never visited, yet somehow know. Perhaps you will see the face of someone long gone, their voice clearer than memory should allow. Perhaps you will find yourself flying, or falling, or caught in the quiet strangeness of a landscape that shifts even as you walk across it, and when you wake, you will carry fragments of it with you, as if you had returned from a journey across some hidden. See, dreams, then, are more than illusions. They are reminders that the mind contains vast continents still unmapped, places where imagination, memory, and emotion meet to create entire realities. And every night, without fail, we are invited back into that secret country. When you close your eyes at night and drift into a dream, your mind does not speak in the language of logic or reason. It does not lay out neat sentences or orderly explanations. Instead, it speaks in symbols, in images that stretch and transform like reflections in water. A door may not be simply a door, but an invitation. A mountain may not only be a mountain, but a challenge your soul feels ready to climb. Dreams take the raw material of life, your memories, your emotions, your hopes and fears, and rearrange them into stories that often feel stranger than anything new could invent while awake. Think about how often you've dreamed of someone you know, but they appear with a different face, or how you've walked into a house that you've never seen before, but in the dream you know without doubt that it belongs to you. This is the peculiar grammar of dreams. Contradictions do not disturb them. What would be absurd in waking life flows naturally in the world of the dream. In this way, dreams remind us that the mind is not always bound to the rules of waking reality. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, believed that dreams were more than random activity in the brain. To him, they were a direct communication from the unconscious, not just a personal and conscious made of your individual memories, but a deeper layer he called the collective unconscious. In dreams, according to Jung, we encounter archetypes, timeless images that appear again and again across cultures: the wise old man, the nurturing mother, the trickster, the shadow self. These figures walk through the theater of our dreams, whispering truths that we may not be ready to face in daylight. Freud, Jung's teacher and rival, saw dreams differently. To him, they were coded messages from the hidden desires of the psyche. In Freud's view, every dream concealed a wish, often one that was repressed or unspoken. The dream cloaked it in disguise, the way a theater might use costumes and masks. Freud believed that by unraveling these disguises, one could uncover the unconscious forces shaping a person's life. Yet Freud's interpretations were often controversial, tied to ideas of sexuality and repression that not everyone agreed with. Still, whether one leans toward Freud's desires or Jung's archetypes, both perspectives point to the same central truth. Dreams reveal something hidden. They are not random noise, but a form of inner speech, a dialogue between the conscious self and the deeper layers of the mind. Consider how often people dream of falling. The body jerks, the heart races, and you wake with a start. What does it mean? Some say it reflects insecurity, the fear of losing control. Others say it is simply the body rehearsing its balance, a neurological reflex. But perhaps it can be both, a biological event wrapped in a symbolic. Language, carrying meanings layered like an onion. Or think of flying dreams, which so often bring joy and freedom, the sensation of weightlessness, the release from gravity. Could it be the mind's way of expressing liberation, of imagining the soul unburdened by the heaviness of the world? Dreams also give us a strange gift. They let us revisit what is lost. The dead return, alive again in our sleep, speaking to us as if no time had passed. Old friends, forgotten places. Even childhood homes appear with startling clarity. These dreams can stir emotions that linger long after waking. It is as if the mind, and willing to let go entirely, creates its own private reunions in those moments, even if fleeting, time bends. And grief is soothed by imagination, and yet, for all their beauty, dreams can also frighten. Nightmares remind us that the mind can conjure terror as easily as wonder. To wake from a nightmare is to feel both relief and bewilderment. How can something that was not real have felt so intensely real? Fear in dreams clings to the body, the racing pulse, the sweat, the tension in the muscles. It reminds us of a truth we cannot ignore. The boundary between mind and body is porous, and what we imagine can move us as powerfully as what we live. Perhaps that is why dreams matter so much. They are proof that the imagination is not separate from reality, but a force within it. They show us that ideas, emotions, and symbols can shape our very being, and when we listen to them, when we let their whispers linger after waking, we may discover insights about ourselves that waking life often hides. Across cultures and centuries, dreams have rarely been seen as merely private. They have been bridges, connecting the individual to the universe, the human to the divine, the seen to the unseen. Ancient civilizations often treated dreams as messages from gods, ancestors, or spirits. The Babylonians and Egyptians kept dream manuals, guides that listed symbols and their meanings. To dream of a snake, for instance, could mean danger, healing, or transformation, depending on context. To dream of water was to encounter the deep, the unconscious, fertility, or even divine judgment. These were not idle curiosities, but serious interpretations, guiding decisions about politics, war, and personal destiny. In many indigenous cultures, dreams are considered not less real than waking life, but more real. They are experiences of the soul traveling, communicating, or receiving wisdom. The Australian Aboriginal tradition of the dream time, for example, describes a sacred era of creation that still exists, woven into the land and accessible through dreams. To dream is to step into that timeless layer of reality, to touch what is eternal beneath the shifting surface of the everyday. Spiritual traditions across Asia also emphasize dreams as pathways. In Tibetan Buddhism, there is a practice called dream yoga. Practitioners learn to remain aware during dreams, treating the dream as a training ground for enlightenment. If you can wake up within a dream, they suggest, you can also wake up within life itself, seeing its illusions for what they are. Dreams, then, are not accidents but tools, opportunities for growth and awakening. Even in modern times, many people feel that dreams sometimes deliver something uncanny, a vision, a premonition, or a truth that later proves to be real. A person might dream of an event before it happens, or discover insight into a problem without consciously working on it. Skeptics call this coincidence, the mind's pattern-seeking tendency. Believers call it intuition, or the voice of a higher order breaking through the surface of consciousness. Either way, the experience remains powerful. In dreams, the boundaries between time and space, between self and world, seem to soften. This raises a profound question. Are dreams a mirror of the self, or a window into the cosmos? Perhaps they are both. On one level, they clearly reflect our own memories, desires, and fears. But on another, they connect us to universal patterns, to symbols that recur not just in one culture, but across all humanity. When countless people dream of flying, or falling, or standing naked before a crowd, what does that suggest? Is it only coincidence, or is there a shared language of the soul, whispering through each of us? Dreams may also reveal how fragile our sense of reality truly is. When you are in a dream, it feels real. You do not question it until you wake. And when you wake, you realize it was only a dream. But what if waking life itself is another kind of dream? one we will only awaken from at death, or in some higher state of consciousness. Philosophers from both East and West have wrestled with this possibility. Zhuangzi, the Chinese Taoist sage, once dreamed he was a butterfly. When he awoke, he asked, was he Zhuangzi dreaming he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming it was Zhuangzi? The boundaries blur. What we call real may not be as solid as we believe. For listeners at night, drifting towards sleep, this thought is both unsettling and comforting. It suggests that reality is not fixed, but fluid. That the world you inhabit during the day is only one dimension of existence, and that sleep invites you into another. To fall asleep, then, is not simply to rest. It is to journey. Each dream is a voyage into an ocean of symbols, where the self dissolves and reforms, where the boundaries of time and space lose their edge. And in this voyage, there is beauty. Even if we cannot fully explain them, dreams remind us that life is not confined to the rational, that behind the ordinary routines of waking existence, there is always mystery, depth, and wonder waiting to be touched. Dreams are the proof that imagination is not a trivial escape, but a fundamental layer of being, one that ties us to cultures, to ancestors, and perhaps to the very universe itself. For centuries, dreams were left to poets, priests, and philosophers. Then science entered the scene, not to strip away their mystery, but to give us new ways of seeing them in the 20th century. Researchers discovered that sleep itself is not uniform, but made of cycles. The most famous of these is called REM sleep, rapid eye movement. During REM, your eyes flicker beneath closed lids, your brain hums with activity, and vivid dreams are most likely to appear. This discovery, made in the 1950s, was like stumbling upon a hidden theater of the mind, one that played every night whether we noticed it or not. You might accept impossible things without question, flying through the sky, talking to someone long dead, or watching time bend and twist. The dreaming brain is both brilliant and illogical, a painter free from rules, splashing images across the canvas of the mind. Neuroscientists have since shown that the brain during REM sleep is almost as active as it is when awake. Regions involved in memory, emotion, and imagination glow with activity. Yet, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles logic and critical thinking, goes quiet. This explains why dreams feel real but often lack consistency. Psychologists, too, have tried to understand why we dream. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, argued that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. For him, every dream hid a wish, often disguised or distorted. A train might represent desire. A locked door might symbolize fear. Freud believed that by interpreting dreams, one could uncover the hidden forces shaping our behavior. His student Carl Jung expanded this view. Jung suggested that dreams are not only personal but collective. They carry archetypes, universal. Symbols like the mother, the hero, the shadow, that connect every dreamer to humanity's shared psyche. Modern science has also explored more practical functions of dreaming. Some theories suggest that dreams help process emotions, sorting through the chaos of daily life and weaving it into memory. Others propose that dreams prepare us for survival, rehearsing dangers in a safe environment. This might explain why nightmares often involve being chased, threatened, or trapped. Your brain, in its strange way, is running simulations, practicing responses to challenges you might one day face. There are also experiments showing that dreaming can enhance creativity. Artists, scientists, and inventors throughout history have reported insights born from dreams. The chemist August Keckel claimed that he saw the structure of the benzene molecule in a dream. As a snake biting its own tail, Paul McCartney dreamed the melody of yesterday. Countless writers and painters have drawn directly from the dream world. Science now confirms what they sensed. The dreaming brain forges connections the waking mind might miss, allowing imagination to flourish in the dark. Still, for all this research, a full explanation of dreams remains elusive. Why do some dreams feel profoundly meaningful, while others vanish the moment we wake? Why do recurring dreams haunt us, repeating the same themes or images across years? Why do some people rarely remember their dreams, while others live half their lives in nightly epics? Science has data, but the mystery endures. And perhaps that is the point. Even under scientific light, dreams refuse to be caged. They remind us that human experience is not only rational but also symbolic, emotional, and mysterious. They are bridges between waking and sleeping, between the conscious and unconscious, between logic and imagination. To study them scientifically is to admire their patterns. But to live them is to touch something ineffable, something that resists full explanation. For the listener, lying in bed and drifting toward rest, this is a comfort. You do not need to solve your dreams. You only need to allow them. The brain, the psyche, the spirit, all will do their quiet work while you sleep. Dreams arrive like tides, carrying fragments of memory, imagination, and perhaps something beyond. They come unbidden, and they leave when the morning sun rises. Throughout history, humans have not only studied dreams but also woven them into stories, myths, and art, giving shape to the invisible world of the mind. In ancient cultures, dreams were considered messages from gods or spirits, subtle instructions from the universe. The Babylonians kept detailed dream journals, recording visions they believed could predict the future. The Egyptians painted elaborate murals of the afterlife and dream imagery, viewing dreams as windows into both mortality and the divine. Even in modern literature, dreams have inspired some of the most evocative poetry and stories. From the surreal landscapes of Franz Kafka to the delicate, floating images in the works of Haruki Murakami, dreams, in this sense, act like a mirror to the unconscious, reflecting our fears, desires, and hidden thoughts. They allow the imagination to wander freely, unbound by logic or consequence. A single dream can contain entire worlds, forests under strange skies, conversations with people long gone, or journeys through cities that could never exist. In each image, the mind reveals fragments of memory, emotion, and creativity, blending them into a tapestry that is at once personal and universal. For someone lying in bed, letting sleep approach, this is a comforting thought. Dreams are not obstacles or strange interruptions, but gentle guides leading the mind into rest. They take the raw material of daily life and transform it into stories, landscapes, and experiences that are both familiar and fantastical. By surrendering to them, the dreamer allows the brain to process emotions, release tension, and explore possibilities that might remain hidden during waking hours. Across cultures, the symbols in dreams carry wisdom. Water often represents emotion and fluidity, flight suggests freedom or release, and journeys signify personal transformation. Even when dreams feel chaotic, these images provide subtle lessons and reflections, guiding the mind toward clarity, calm, and resolution. The more we observe our dreams without fear or judgment, the more they can become a quiet companion in the night, a gentle whisper that eases the transition from wakefulness to sleep. As we continue through the night, letting the rhythm of our breath slow, dreams quietly take over. They do not demand attention, nor do they judge. They simply unfold, carrying fragments of memory, imagination, and emotion into the darkness. Each dream is unique, yet they all share a common purpose: to guide us toward rest, reflection, and renewal, preparing the mind and body to awaken refreshed and more aware. Modern science has brought new insight into the mysterious world of dreams, revealing how intricately they are tied to the rhythms of the sleeping brain during REM sleep. The mind becomes a theater of vivid imagery, emotion, and story-like sequences. Neuroscientists have found that areas of the brain responsible for memory, emotion, and sensory experience are particularly active, while the regions governing critical judgment and logical reasoning quiet down. This is why dreams can feel so immersive, so real, yet also so strange, fluid, and unbound by the constraints of waking life. Psychologists suggest that dreams serve as a form of mental housekeeping. They help process emotions, sort memories, and integrate experiences from the day. Dreams may revisit unresolved conflicts, reflect fears, or magnify moments of joy, all in symbolic language. When we pay gentle attention to them, without fear or frustration at their oddness, they can provide subtle guidance, helping us navigate our inner world more peacefully. Lucid dreaming, the phenomenon in which a dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming, opens an even more fascinating door. In these dreams, the mind retains awareness, sometimes allowing control over the dream's narrative, the landscape, or even one's actions within it. Many find lucid dreams to be empowering and soothing, a safe space where imagination and reality converge, for someone seeking calm before sleep. Thinking about the possibility of gently navigating one's own dream world can itself be a meditative practice, a quiet preparation for rest. Creativity, too, is nourished in the dreaming state. Inventors, writers, and artists have long credited their dreams with solutions to problems or glimpses of inspiration that eluded them while awake. The mind, free from waking constraints, makes unexpected connections, revealing patterns, ideas, or images that spark insight. Even if one does not remember every dream, the subconscious work performed during sleep enhances creativity, emotional clarity, and problem-solving, all without conscious effort. For the listener lying in bed, these truths about dreams can be calming, knowing that the mind is actively weaving stories, processing emotions, and nurturing creativity while you rest allows the body and spirit to surrender more fully to sleep. Each dream becomes not a puzzle to solve, but a gentle, invisible companion guiding you deeper into relaxation, quiet reflection, and restorative rest. Across cultures and centuries, dreams have been seen not just as private experiences, but as windows into deeper truths, messages from the divine, or reflections of the soul. In many indigenous traditions, dreams were treated with reverence. A vision seen in the night could guide important decisions, offer warnings, or reveal hidden possibilities. Shamans would interpret these dreams, using them to heal, teach, and connect with the spiritual world. In doing so, they acknowledged that the dreaming mind operates in a subtle realm, one that bridges the seen and unseen, the conscious and unconscious. Ancient Greeks and Romans also held dreams in high regard. They maintained dream temples, called Asclepiades, where people slept in hopes of receiving guidance or healing from the gods. Philosophers like Aristotle, while more skeptical, noted that dreams reflect waking life and emotions, acting as a mirror for desires, fears, and unresolved thoughts. Even in literature, dreams have long served as gateways to understanding human nature. Shakespeare's plays are filled with dream sequences that reveal characters' hidden fears and yearnings, while in the writings of the Romantic poets, dreams evoke landscapes of imagination, emotion, and transcendence. Symbols within dreams often carry universal patterns. Water can signify emotional flow, clouds may reflect uncertainty or transformation, and journeys often represent growth or personal change. Recognizing these symbols gently, without judgment, can bring comfort when we listen to dreams. They offer a soft reflection on our inner world, a chance to acknowledge feelings that might otherwise be overlooked during the busy day. This reflection encourages calm, awareness, and a sense of harmony, perfect for guiding the mind toward sleep. Even in modern times, cultural interpretations continue to shape how we perceive dreams. In Japan, certain dream motifs are considered auspicious, while in parts of Africa and the Americas, dreams serve as ancestral communication or guidance. These traditions remind us that dreams are not merely random neural firings, but a shared human experience, connecting us to history, to culture, and to one another. For the listener preparing for sleep, this perspective is soothing. Dreams become more than fleeting images. They become gentle companions, carrying whispers of wisdom, reassurance, and insight. They invite the mind to wander safely, to explore emotion and imagination, and ultimately, to drift effortlessly into restorative rest. Dreams are also deeply personal, acting as mirrors of the inner self. Each image, each fleeting scenario, reflects aspects of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences that may go unnoticed in the waking world. By observing these nocturnal stories with calm attention, we gain subtle insight into our desires, fears, and unresolved tensions. This is not a practice of analysis or judgment, but one of quiet awareness, a gentle acknowledgement of the mind's complexity and creativity. Mindful engagement with dreams can also cultivate emotional balance. When the mind encounters stress, grief, or uncertainty during the day, dreams often provide a soft space to process these feelings. A dream may revisit a difficult conversation, a lingering worry, or an unfulfilled longing, transforming it into imagery that the conscious mind can gradually understand and release. In this way, dreams act like a silent therapist, guiding the sleeper toward clarity, emotional resolution, and calm. For someone lying in bed, ready to drift into sleep, this understanding can be reassuring. The night becomes a sanctuary where the mind is free to wander safely, where worries can dissolve into imagery, and where each dream offers gentle reflection. Even the odd, nonsensical, or surreal dreams serve a purpose. They allow the subconscious to play, to imagine, to stretch beyond the constraints of daily routine, all while preparing the body and mind for rest. This process also nurtures creativity and intuition. Ideas often emerge in dreams in unexpected ways. Sometimes solutions to problems or fresh perspectives on challenges that seemed impossible during waking hours. These insights arrive without pressure or expectation, quietly surfacing from the depths of the sleeping mind. By allowing ourselves to surrender to the flow of dreams, we open the door to both restful sleep and subtle mental renewal, creating a space where imagination and relaxation coexist harmoniously. Finally, dreams teach us patience and presence. They remind us that life contains mystery and uncertainty, that not everything can or should be controlled. By observing dreams with curiosity and calm, we cultivate a gentle acceptance of life's rhythms, the rise and fall of thought, the ebb and flow of emotion, the delicate passage from wakefulness to sleep. In doing so, the mind settles, the body relaxes, and the night becomes a quiet journey toward restoration. As the night deepens and the body sinks into rest, dreams gently take the stage, guiding the mind through landscapes of imagination, emotion, and memory. They are neither random nor meaningless. They are quiet companions, reflections of our inner world, and soft teachers of self-awareness. By surrendering to their rhythm, by observing without judgment, we allow the mind to release tension, process the day, and prepare for renewal. Across cultures, centuries, and philosophies, dreams have been honored as sacred, creative, and restorative, from ancient visionaries to modern psychologists, who remind us of the power of dreams to illuminate the subconscious, inspire insight, and nurture emotional balance. They are a bridge between wakefulness and sleep, A gentle passage into rest, for the listener lying quietly in bed. This is the gift of dreams, a safe, serene space to wander, reflect, and renew. By embracing this nightly journey, one can drift into sleep with calm, knowing that the mind is active in its own gentle, restorative way. Each dream carries the whisper of wisdom, the touch of creativity, and the promise of a refreshed morning. So, as you close your eyes and let the night enfold you, remember, dreams are not just fleeting images, they are companions, guides, and the mind's soft lullaby, leading you into deep, peaceful, and restorative sleep.